Ulrich the owl looks lost and out of place in the hot desert sun. If you listen close, you can almost hear him say, "Freddy, if you're going to go in there, I'm going to wait out here." He always has some flimsy excuse. A few buzzards have landed here, waiting for some unfortunate life form to become vulture chow. Gee willikers, you can't quite reach that owl from here. Too bad. You'd like to wring his neck. While you might want to do something to those buzzards, they're simply living out their portion of the West's ecology.
You return? Yep. It is good to look upon your eternally smiling countenance of face again. Yeah, I've missed you too.
The chemical warms slowly over the alcohol lamp. Now it's getting pretty hot. Good thing your calluses are thick. Chemical rapidly reaches a full rolling boil. You carefully label the bottle bisalicylate antitoxidine. Congratulations! Be careful, this stuff is mighty concentrated.
Mind the store, won't you, Srini? I'm off to uphold justice and stuff. Okie the dokie.
It's Weebix, one of the little orphan girls.
Hello, Weebix. How are you this morning?
She pointedly stares away from you, counting to herself and looking just a bit peeved.
1, 5, 9, 33, 4, 7.5, 2, 6. I've confused you now, haven't I?
Weebix's eyes get very large and well up with tears. She sets her jaw firmly and keeps jumping. Starting with 1. You are not proud of yourself. It's a little boy rolling dice and muttering something about baby shoes. It's one of the young townsboys, diligently trying to make his point. In this case, it's a 6.
So, you boys playing jacks? Where are the jacks?
They snicker at your naivete and return to their game.
Hello, Penelope.
Frederick, my sweet, this is turning out to be quite the busy day for you, isn't it?
It sure is, but I'm really looking forward to that Sadie Hawkins dance.
And I as well, Freddy. Romance does make my heart flutter so.
Till later, my dear.
Till then, my sweet.
I may be ill. Holy cow, you've never seen such a long line at the outhouse.
Something's rotten in the state of Coarse Gold's bowels.
This one appears to be practicing the jitterbug. How long can she wait? Not long if she keeps bouncing like that. He's really gotta go. You haven't seen a line this long here since Mom served her famous chicken sushi with egg tartare.
Say, do any of you guys know how to Madison?
Nobody's laughing. She can't hear you over the mighty roar of her lower gastrointestinal tract. You turn the faucet on and water gushes out. Score! You carefully fill one of your empty beer bottles with water from the tower. You turn the faucet off. You take a swig of the water from the water tower. Uh-oh. Your stomach starts to make strange sounds. Your small intestine begins to whine. Your lower intestine starts complaining loudly.
Hey, buddy, no cutting. It's people like you that give people like you a bad name.
Well, howdy, Mr. Pharkas. I was just leaving, I swear. Give me one more minute.
Perfectly okay, Billy. No need to get up. Just scoot over a little.
Geez, Mr. Pharkas, invade my personal space, why don't you?
A few moments later, you emerge feeling refreshed.
Gee, that water's got a nasty kick to it.
grab the ladder. Remembering your father's advice about never using the topmost rungs of a ladder, you stop just short of the ladder top. With a few quick movements, you make an authentic Western lasso out of the rope. It's like falling off a log. Once you learn how, you never forget. Score! You snare the tower top. The crowd eats it up.
Who's the schmuck with the rope?
Be careful you don't put an eye out.
As you reach the top of the water tower, the crowd cheers.
Thank God, it's Freddy!
We're number one! We're number one!
What are you gonna do now, Freddy?
I'm going to Sierra Land!
Boing! That one hit a 9.0 on the free plug-o-meter. Carefully pour the purification solution into the town's water supply. Excellent job.
It weren't more than a few hours before the folks of Coarse Gold was feeling a whole heck of a lot better. Their bowels were all settled down and happy. Freddy knew he could relax now. Everything was calm and peaceful. But round about midnight, that very same night, trouble struck again. Freddy was in his own bed, sound asleep, when...
Fire! Fire, Freddy Pharkas! Please come urgently!
What's wrong, Srini?
A tragedy is becoming. The assay office is aflame. She is burning with a much more severe. The pharmacy may be next alighted. Get dressed as soon as possible.
I am dressed. I don't own pajamas.
Take mine. No, wait. There is no time to perform such an effort. Just hurry and scheme in such a way so as to extinguish the most threatening fire.
Srini, are you going to help me put out that fire or what?
There is much stock work yet to be done.
It's midnight.
I am still on Pakistani time.
That's a pretty poor excuse for not helping me put out that fire.
I have many other excuses ready, if you do not like that one.
Oh, never mind. I'll do it myself. Mind the store, won't you, Srini? I'm off to uphold justice and stuff.
Okie dokie.
A gigantic pile of 50-pound sacks of baking soda fills the sidewalk in front of your store, nearly blocking the entrance. The baking soda is the famous Leg and Hammer brand,
named for the famous international industrialist. His slogan, keep one sack in the smokehouse and another in the stable to help keep it clean and fresh smelling. Summoning up superhuman strength, you heft the huge pile of baking soda. Then with a horrible wrenching, tearing sound, you cram the sacks of baking soda into your pants pocket. The old abandoned assay office is ablaze, threatening to burn down not only itself and your pharmacy, but the whole town. What pluck! What prowess! What a ridiculous solution. Still, you thought of it. You single-handedly quenched the flames of the assay office by using the seesaw as a catapult for the baking soda. Too bad nobody was here to see it. They'll never believe you in the morning.
The boss is more than a little upset. Seems that our friend has been thwarting every plan so far.
Yep, something's gotta be done about it.
Absolutely. Now, let's get down to business. What is the best way to get rid of our little problem permanently?
How about hanging?
Oh, too quick and merciless. Poison?
Nah, too unsure. Ancient Egyptian dagger.
I can't find mine. Got one on you?
Not at the moment. It don't matter how we do it, so long as we do it soon. And we don't want no proof it was us, neither. And nothing to connect it with the boss.
Excellent thought. And the boss has arranged for a bit of muscle to come in and make sure the entire town's cleaned out PDQ. We'll be rid of that do-gooder and all his flea-bitten friends in no time.
Laughing cruelly, they sit back to reflect on their villainy. Madam had this gazebo built as part of her real old-fashioned romance special, which cost an additional $1.25. It was never used. Coarse gold is filled with unromantic cheapskates. Located on this rocky hillside is Madame Ovary's place of business, a custom-built bawdy house built in the fashion of the pastel Gothics. Of course, they had to get the rocks off the property before they could build here. You can't see into the brothel from out here, but Madam does cater to peeping Toms, and at a slight discount. It's P.H. Balance, the town banker, relaxing on the brothel porch with a good cigar. The thought of him conversing with one of Madam's nubile young professionals is enough to make you swear off banking forever. Sheriff Chicken P. Shift is sitting on Madam's front porch smoking cigars with P.H. Balance, the village banker. A hint of coal oil drifts through the night air. From him, the thought of Shift and Balance messing around with Madam's working girls makes you thankful you don't participate in any disease-trading activities. It's the white picket fence separating Madam's property from the Great Desert Valley to the south. It's a cactus growing just beyond the fence. That's the door to the brothel. The room is a riot of plush red velvet. The girls are impatiently waiting for customers so that they can go upstairs and lie down a while. It's the lovely and winsome Chastity, a girl who really knows her stuff. In fact, every man in town knows her stuff. That's Purity. She's 99 and 44 100% impure, but she still floats. It's Olga, for those who don't want to spend another sheepless night. It's Virtue, one of Madam's best laid plans. Madam set out some wine and glasses. A few drinks helps the customers loosen up. The girls are already loose enough. No, wait, the customers drink wine and get tight, and the girls aren't. Oh, never mind. These stairs lead to the girls' private rooms. These cupids decorate the stair banister. The working girls keep their clothes in here. A brass cuspidor, known as a spittoon, sits next to the plush red velvet armchair. Spittoons for Freddy Pharkas, Frontier Pharmacist, furnished by Louie Loogie, Flemmy Mass. The clock's pendulum swings constantly, just like Madam's girls. A couple of plush red velvet chairs have been strategically placed in the room so as to offer customers the girls' best profiles. It's a plush red velvet carpet. You love the way it squishes between your toes. Not that you were ever barefooted in here. Certainly not. It's a coffee table, big enough for those extra kinky encounters. There's a handsome silver tea set on the coffee table. It stands out, since it's just about the only thing in the room that isn't plush red velvet. A stack of naughty French postcards sits on the coffee table in order to titillate some of the less forward customers. A charming picture window looks out over the side of the house. The view's a little blurry, though, owing to all the slobber on the outside of the window. Score! You snatch the French postcards. The balustrade lends an opulent ambience to the brothel's ornamentation. Shoot, where'd all them $10 words come from? From down here, that looks like a curtain of rich crushed velour. Why, it's a lovely painting of Fred and Ginger. You know, Fred Mertz and Ginger Grant, that hot new minstrel team. It's just a large statuette of Schmiros, the god of Can't We Just Be Good Friends. It's a plush red velvet love seat. This chamber leads into Madam's private boudoir. No unaccompanied males allowed. There are some candles burning in the anteroom. They not only add atmosphere, but their fresh springtime scent covers up those embarrassing odors. The windows and entryways are festooned with plush red velvet curtains. Festooned, from the Latin festus, to drawl in a southern accent and schlep around in a lazy fashion and just sort of drape yourself over furniture. A variety of plush red velvet and green glass lamps can be found here.
Hey, Mon Amour, it's about time you showed up. Ready to take my pharmacy bill out in trade?
Sure.
Then get over here before I have to come get you, little pumpkin. Freddy, I think you should leave.
Why, Sadie? Just because I'm using you for cheap, tawdry pleasure when my heart belongs to Penelope Prim, the gorgeous, young, obviously more virtuous new town schoolmarm?
What? Who?
Oh, nothing. Never mind. What were you saying?
Oh, I was just saying I think you should leave. Leave town, that is. Oh, it's so tragic. Freddy, there's just no easy way to say this. The girls say the sheriff and the banker talk in their sleep. They hate you, Freddy. They want you dead. They're out to get you. Something about you foiling the plan and how they had to get you out of the way. You have to run, Freddy. You have to get out of town by sundown.
Now, don't you worry, Sadie. I've been doing a pretty good job up till now, using just my wits and my pharmacological knowledge, haven't I? I'm not gonna just turn tail and run and leave you and Penelope and Coarsegold behind me to fend for yourselves.
You're not listening to me, Freddy Pharkas. There's man a-comin'. Man with guns. Big guns. Guns with long barrels. Long, hard barrels. Long, hard, steely barrels. And low-slung holsters and... Oh, sorry.
Sadie, snap out of it!
Oh, sorry. I was just visualizing. Anyway, you'll never be able to outthink men with guns. If you're set on staying in town, you'll have to, go back to your old ways.
That's out of the question. I left gunslinging behind me years ago. I'm not like that anymore, and I don't want to discuss it.
Stop it. You gotta choose, and that's all there is to it, hon. Either leave town and save your hide, or pull yourself together and face reality. Quit talking about potions and liniments. They're not gonna stop no bullets. It's time to get off of your cute little butt and give these men a taste of frontier justice. Now, what are you gonna do?
I don't know. Hold me, Sadie. Press me to your ample bosom, and let me decide tomorrow.
You got it, hon.
Now, let's see, where was I? Oh, that's right. Madame Ovary begged and pleaded with Freddy to either leave town or take up his old gunslinging ways, something which Freddy was just a mite reluctant to consider. So they decided to sleep on it, and though they didn't get much sleep, Freddy did mull it over somewhat. The next morning, he decided to... Maybe I better... Wait, maybe I better... Well, never mind. Just go on. Boy.
Penelope, coarse gold, Madam Ovary. I know I've got to get out of this town before they gun me down, but I can't. Coarse gold's my home, and darn it to heck, I'm not gonna let some cheap criminals run me out of my home. Oh, Sadie's right. I've got to be the man I once was. I've got to dredge up my ugly past, meet it square in the face, stare it down, pick it up, dust it off, fluff it up, and put it on again.
You take your old gunslinger clothes and your good guy model Stetson hat. You pick up the claim check, your hand trembling with the memory of the last time you wore the boots that you traded for it. That monster, Kenny the Kid, looking down at you and laughing as your ear bled in the hot sun. You put those boots away, never to wear them again. And when you moved to Coarse Gold, you sent them to be cleaned and polished. That was years ago. They've probably been lost or thrown away by now.
Srini, who let you in?
Your most gracious Native American, Running Gag, permitted me egress from the outside of the street. It was then that I allowed him to knock himself off for the remainder of the day, since we are still closed.
That's fine, Srini. Look, I've reached a decision. My life is in danger. Aw, heck, the whole town's in danger. I must take up gunslinging, and I'll need your help.
Pardon us for being said, Freddy Pharkas, but you are a humble pharmacist. Shooting as most perfectionly as a gunslinger is a skill requiring most years of tireless practice. You are ill-equipped. Perhaps you should make peace with your chosen deity and prepare to go to the great pharmacy counter in the sky.
Srini, you'll have to trust me on this. I used to be a gunslinger before I took up pharmacology. If I did it before, I can do it again. It shouldn't take long to brush up my skills. I've just got to find my guns and do a little practice shooting.
Very well, Freddy Pharkas. When you are prepared, meet me at the edge of town, and together we shall practice what little must be left of your shooting skills. Yes?
Mind the store, won't you, Srini? I'm off to uphold justice and stuff.
Okie the dokie.
That's Gluteus Maximilian and his horse, who appears to be wearing one of those hilarious whoopee saddles. They call him Gluteus because he's the butt of every practical joke in town.
Hey, Max.
Max ignores you, but he seems to flinch a bit. Perhaps he thinks you're in on yet another nasty prank. Those flies are really enjoying that byproduct.
Score!
You bravely, stupidly grab the steaming, fly-laden horse plop. Fortunately, it seems to be holding together well as you place it in your pocket. Candles in the church foyer are glowing with a holy light.
Score!
You would never dream of stealing a candle from a church, but they wouldn't miss one of those puddles of candle wax. Reboot Hill was opened in 1849. Disease and violent death were so popular back then that the cemetery plots were auctioned off at the Coarse Gold Plot Exposition of '52. 10 years later, due to overcrowding, the bodies were exhumed and buried off the top of Half Dome in Yosemite. The plots were re-auctioned off. It's been that way ever since. Thank you for your kind attention to this plot synopsis. Aha! You'd always wondered where Jim E. Hoffer was buried. Reboot Hill isn't very creepy. The Coarse Gold Founding Fathers Cemetery Committee couldn't afford creepy. Creepy costs extra. Reboot Hill isn't very... The epitaph reads, "There's a recently filled grave in Reboot Hill. Looks like your dear friend Philip has passed on. Gee, it seems like only a day or two ago you filled a prescription for him." Uh-oh. That's a Shears craftsperson graveyard quality shovel standing in the dirt.
Score!
Glancing furtively around to see if Doug's within sight, you grab his shovel.
Score!
You start to dig up the freshly laid grave. Muscles that haven't been used in years begin to groan and whine. But with the gritty determination of a professional grave robber, you toil on. And on. And on. It's an open grave. Even a world-weary, seen-it-all pharmacist like yourself, one who deals with cold sores, headaches, and diarrhea on a daily basis, still can't shake that uneasy feeling one gets when standing close to death. It's a pile of rich, reddish dirt from the grave. In fact, it's more clay than dirt, which explains all the lush growth around here. You carefully search through the many pockets of Graves' $3 suit until you discover the safe deposit box key you entrusted to Phil oh so many years ago. Score! In a touching display of emotion and a hidden desire to carry a little less around with you, you fold up Philip's letter and place it under his folded hands.
I guess this makes Phil a correspondence corpse.
You begin the arduous task of replacing the heaping mound of dirt one shovelful at a time, over and over and over. Score! You grab a handful of clay from the pile beside the grave. Well, you never know, it could come in handy. These are the teller stations. This heavy table is where customers fill out bank slips and examine their safe deposit boxes. This quill pen is used to fill out slips and sign registers. This heavy table is where customers fill out bank slips and examine their safe deposit boxes. There's a register here for new customers. If they sign in, they'll get all the usual brochures prompting them to take advantage of the Bank of Bob's home equity loans and other really smart investments. It's always nice to see a small town like Coarsegold get some big city tackiness like this horrible chandelier. It's a velvet mural that depicts the driving of the Golden Spike as performed by a toreador and a couple of children with really big, sad eyes. You see the green flocked wallpaper, rough-hewn wood floor, and tin tile ceiling of the Bank of Bob, Coarsegold's first and probably last financial institution. This authentic mohair rug is much like the one P.H. Balance wears on his head. After all, he needs much mohair than he has. This cute little fence separates the officials only area from the customers and other unwelcome guests area. It's Phineas's file cabinet. A masterful portrait of P.H. Balance's father, Bacillus Ophiclid Balance, or Bob for short. It's got a little plaque. Apparently it doesn't have time to brush between meals. One of the local plants has been pulled up and potted. Phineas H. Balance has cleverly situated a newfangled box camera up in the corner to photograph customers. Only trouble is, most customers don't stand in place for 15 minutes. It's P.H. Balance's clock, eternally set to 3:57 so that he can hustle people out of the bank with a, "We're closing in 5 minutes." The vault door is 2 solid feet of case-hardened high-carbon balsa wood, painted gray to look metallic and fool would-be bank robbers. Some sort of large potted fern is standing in the corner. couple of pretty cameo portraits of pH Balance's favorite pin-up girl.
That Carrie Nation is such a looker.
Sitting behind the counter is pH Balance, current owner and operator of the Bank of Bob.
He's a bore and a lice-infested jerk.
Come again? Did you say something, Pharkas?
I said you were more than just a nice, respected clerk.
Oh, that's very different. Say, it was too bad about your pharmacy being shut down. Must be hard to lose a business so sudden-like. We here at the Bank of Bob sympathize.
You hand the safe deposit box key to pH Balance.
It'll be ready Tuesday. Oh, I mean, allow me to fetch your safe deposit box for you immediately.
It's your safe deposit box. You haven't even looked in this box for, what, 10 years now? Ever since you moved to Course Gold. You'd forgotten. You used your old lucky neckerchief to wrap those pistols in. These are your 2 gunslinger pistols, left over from your salad days. You know, those days when you were still green.
Score!
You lovingly lift your pistols from the box where they've spent the past decade.
Score!
You take your lucky neckerchief out of the safe deposit box. Now you're really beginning to feel lucky.
Wait a minute. The last time I wore this was when Kenny shot off my ear back in St. Louis.
Well, okay, so maybe it's not that lucky a neckerchief.
I'm all done now.
Thank you for using the Bank of Bob.
It's Ezekiel Andrew Washington Madison Johnson Hallelujah, the preacher's kid. It's one of those newfangled old Miss a Coffee machines. Helen sets it out every other day for free coffee.
Mom, there was a fire last night that almost burned down the whole town.
Don't y'all think I saw that for myself on the way to work this morning? Honestly.
Fortunately, I was able to put the fire out with a little baking soda.
Phew, so that's the stench I've been smelling. What an inconsiderate clod you can be. That burnt baking soda smell is simply nauseating. It's no wonder I got no customers today.
I thought I was doing the town a favor.
Well, next time you think a little harder.
Say, Hop, hear about the big fire last night?
Oh yes, very dramatic.
I came to the rescue, though. Yes, put out that fire single-handedly.
Oh, very good. We all proud of you. You BMOC.
BMOC?
Big mensch of Cosgold.
How tempting. Fresh apple pie still warm from Mom's oven. What could be more American?
Maggots crawling through the door and flies circling the ceiling. Hooey, what's this town coming to? Score!
Mom offers free coffee to her regular customers. You're as regular as anyone. 11 a.m. every morning you head straight for the outhouse, so as usual, you pour yourself a steaming hot cup of joe.
You've done! Freddy Pharkas, I'll see you run out of town for this! Hop sing, hop to it! Get out here and clean up this mess! Damn these flies!
Oh, you're in big water now.
How tempting. Fresh apple pie still warm from Mom's oven. Why, it's as American as Mom's apple pie. Score! Good move, Freddy. Dropping one steaming hot pie to get another. This is one of the few remaining townspeople. Why they stay, no one knows. Salvatore O'Hanahan is taking a moment to sing a few bars from The Barber of Seville. This combination barbershop and dental emporium is under the exclusive proprietorship of Salvatore O'Hanahan, Coarse Gold's only Italian-Irish barber. You're certainly happy it's not winter now. When Sal cranks up the heat in this baby, you can smell the memories of hundreds of miners, many of whom are now long dead, or at least smell that way. Sal didn't really want a buffalo head mounted on his wall, but when it ran through the back of the building, he decided to just leave it.
Hey, Fletcher, how's the plumbing business?
He doesn't respond. Apparently he's too engrossed in reading the latest copy of the Showdown and Examiner. Fletcher Castoria, the town plumber, sits here patiently waiting for his turn in the chair. Got nothing else to do since nobody in Coarse Gold has plumbing. Those old boots look vaguely familiar. That canister is labeled NO2. This cabinet contains boring tonsorial equipment. You see nothing in Sal's barbershop that you would consider useful. Once this lamp burned whale oil, but you know how hard it is to find whales around here. It's a shaving bowl and brush. Although that comb storage jar is labeled disinfectant, you know for a fact that Louis Pasteur's recent research has proven that colored water will disinfect nothing. The label reads, Dull Cream, a big dab'll do ya. This bottle is labeled 22% alcohol by weight. You're glad this pitcher is used only for storing water for hand washing. If you're thirsty, you'd be better off drinking from the horse troughs outside than trusting your life to this mess. This is Salvatore's adjustable barber chair. Somebody ripped off the hand restraints during a tooth extraction.
Hey, I put out a fire last night and saved the town. Proud of me?
Of course I'm proud of you!
Score! Sal, do you still have that pair of boots I dropped off for a shine? I know it's been about 6 years now, but I just remembered I left them here.
Let me see. What's the number on this claim check? Let me look under the counter here.
Yep, still here. Have 'em ready for you next Tuesday.
Oh, never mind. I'll just take them as is.
Don't worry about the storage charges, okay?
That's the jail cell, where Sheriff Checkham Chicken Pea Shift tosses the bad guys. With the town's population dwindling, there haven't been many occupants lately. It's an old bucket. Sheriff Shift occasionally likes to soak his feet. The sheriff hung his hat and long coat on the rack. This is where the sheriff keeps his trade journals. This is the sheriff's spittoon, where he gets most of his target practice. The sheriff's big old desk is cluttered with all sorts of crime-fighting paraphernalia, just in case the sheriff decides to fight crime someday. The sheriff keeps this lamp lit so he can read his procedural manuals and see the pictures real good. It's an old register clock, Those are the sheriff's 6 guns. Actually, they're revolvers and rifles, but there are 6 of them. This looks like a table. That's an old trunk dated back to the 1870s. Actually, in that case, it's pretty new. The sheriff's favorite desk chair has, over the years, just about welded itself to the floor. This turn-of-the-century sheriff's office is manned by a real turn-of-the-century sheriff. It's the Honorable Sheriff Checkham P. Shift trying to invent coffee and donuts.
Sheriff, I'm going to be saying my goodbyes soon, and I just wanted to thank you for all your help.
Don't mention it, boy. If I could do anything to make your departure more hasty or pleasant, feel free to ask.
Score! Say, Sheriff, I know how much a law enforcement person like yourself enjoys a good hot cup of coffee every now and then.
Thanks, partner. But you know what? Something sweet would sure taste good right now.
Why, I bet that's true. I'll be glad to try and find you something to munch on. But in the meantime, I've been thinking about moving to another city, but I've got no bullets. I was wondering if you have any bullets that would fit an old .45.
Why, sure, son. Here, have a box of these Remingtons. No charge. They're on the county.
Here you go, Sheriff Shift. I found some of Mom's nice hot apple pie for you. I know how much a law-enforcing person like yourself enjoys sweet, fatty breakfasts.
Well, thank you. I've been so hungry, I could have ate a bar. This'll sure go good with that cup of coffee you brung me earlier.
Sheriff, do you have anything I could use to clean these old guns of mine before I leave town? They're mighty dirty, and I want to be prepared for my long journey.
Okay, son, but this gun cleaning kit'll be the last thing I give you. Now, get your guns clean, get your horse packed, and get your ass out of my town.
With the sheriff's cleaning kit, you lovingly clean and polish your old pistols till they're like new. Good thing you removed all that nasty rust from your barrel. Damn thing could have exploded right in your face.
Score!
You slip the bullets in the chamber as the old memories come rushing back. Even a few featuring you and your first cousin out behind the barn when you were both curious 8-year-olds.
Okie-dokie, Freddy Pharkas. First we shall see if you can successfully strike the bottles from afar with the bullets of your pistol. Then I will toss the bottles up in the air and you may try to hit them in flight. Good luck, and may the best man win. Very good, Freddy Pharkas. Let us try some quick drawing. Just make sure you hit the target and not me. I'm uploading myself inside. Now for the big challenge. 6 bottles all at once. Say, Freddy Pharkas, you are not so bad after all at this shooting gig.
Why, thanks, Srini. My life and the lives of every man, woman, and ruminant in this town depend on my being quick with a gun.
Did you not mention earlier that your life is in danger most forthcoming?
Something like that.
Might I then suggest that you might be excellent to placing a disguise upon your person, thereby making it to appearances that Freddy Pharkas has no longer around in this locality?
Good thinking, Srini. I'll need a disguise of some sort, something that will strike terror into the hearts of the bad guys. I know, a bat. I'll disguise myself as a bat, and you can be Srini, the boy wonder. You have any leotards?
Pardon me for asserting, but this bat thing is really hokey.
Ah, you're right. Too juvenile. Let's see. How about...
Might I suggest a skin-tight costume with flowing cape and placed upon the manly chest thereof a large F for Pharkas?
Nah, that'd never work. I don't want people to know I'm Freddy, remember?
Then perhaps you are needing to do something about that right ear. Or, rather, the lack of that right ear.
Dang it, you're right. Everyone knows me as the one-eared pharmacist. I need to make a new one somehow. Maybe forge one out of metal or something. I'll give it some thought and meet you back at the pharmacy once I've completed my disguise.
Once Lucky was as coordinated as any other mongrel, but that was before he had that run-in with the owl at the west end of town. Now he hates the owl as much as the rest of us. The door swings open. From the back you hear Chester's voice.
Help yourself. I'll be right out.
Hiya, Whittlin' Willie.
How'd the gunslinging go?
Great. I'm getting ready to leave town now.
Drop the leaving town bit, Sonny. I know what you're up to. This is my story, remember?
Oh, yeah.
Now finish putting that disguise together and get to it so we can get this town cleaned up once and for all.
Hey, you don't have to tell me twice.
Score!
Willie, I'm in need of a way to disguise my ear. Do you think you could do something creative with this? Something in the shape of an ear, perhaps?
Offhand, I'd say do it your dang self. My nap time's coming up shortly. I've had a hard day of whittling. But you could maybe do some lost wax casting with this sucker, and that'd do the trick.
Lost what?
Lost wax casting, son. What'd you do, sleep your way through metal shop?
I guess I must have. What's lost wax casting?
That's casting with an apostrophe, sonny, not an ing. Anyhow, you can make all sorts of things by making a wax positive, using clay to make a mold, then melting down the metal and pouring it into a mold. To make a mold, you carve whatever you want to cast out of wax, see? That's what we call a positive. Now, once you got the wax positive, you take some clay, see, and you patch the clay all around the positive. You just leave a little hole at the top so you can get the wax out. So now you got your wax inside the clay. Well, you just heat that sucker up till the wax goes all oozy and you pour the wax out. That's the lost wax part, see? Now you got your empty clay mold, what we call a negative. You smelts down your metal and pours the metal into the negative. Once it hardens up, you can just scrape off the clay, and there you are. Did you get all that?
I think so. I'm not sure.
Well, that's what your restore button's for, kiddo. Now scrambooch.
You just loved window shop through windows so dirty you can't see through 'em. Maybe you should give Chester some window cleaner for Christmas. The door swings open. From the back you hear Chester's voice.
Help yourself. I'll be right out.
It's Whittlin' Willie's authentic whittling knife.
Score!
You borrow Whittlin' Willie's knife for a while.
You return.
Yep.
It is good to look upon your eternally smiling countenance of face again.
Yeah, I've missed you too.
It's a silver medallion recently awarded to Srini by the American Society of Salves, Holistic Ointments, Liniments, and Emollients Salesmen. It was in honor of his impressive and yet oddly comforting display of Old Gampy's Fisherman Throat Gullet Descaler lozenges.
Score!
You carefully remove the medallion from the wall.
Srini will never miss this.
Freddy Pharkas, what in an entirely unsatisfactory afterlife are you doing with my finely earned silver medallion?
It's going to a good cause, Srini. It's going to help make Coarse Gold a safer, saner place to live.
I am hoping so, Freddy, for all the sakes.
You unlock the desktop. You unlock the desk drawer.
Score!
You take the letter out of the drawer. You lock the drawer. You lock the desktop. You never know who's going to sneak in here and try to get their hands in your drawers. With your newly acquired whittling skills, you carve the candle wax into the shape of an ear, one that should theoretically attach snugly to the remains of your original ear. But now look at the gunk on Willie's knife.
I'll toss this knife over here where Willie might find it. He'll probably think he dropped it here.
Yeah, sure. You carefully pack the clay in and around the wax ear, leaving a small opening so that you can pour out the molten wax later. The wax in the mold slowly starts to melt. The melted wax runs out of the mold and spatters on the work table, resulting in an empty ear-shaped mold and a table with a severe case of waxy buildup. The silver medallion slowly begins to melt. The medallion is nearly completely melted now. You now have a crucible containing molten silver. You quickly pour the molten silver into the empty mold. You scrape the clay off and discard it, leaving you with a gleaming silver ear. Beautifully done. With an ear like this, you could, dare I say it, rule the world!
Score! Score!
With your boots, your clothes, your guns cleaned and loaded, your silver ear, and your lucky neckerchief, you're ready to get dressed and assume your identity as the gun-slinging stranger. You return to your penthouse suite high atop the glittering Pharkas Pharmacy in beautiful downtown Corsgold. There, Srini greets you and solemnly assists you in the final preening. It's a somber and yet somehow exciting event.
There you are, Freddy Pharkas. You are mostly indeed a picture of stately, mysterious strangeness. Nobody will be positive to recognize you now, at any time or place.
Thanks for your help, Srini. Corsgold owes you a debt of gratitude it can never repay. If anyone asks, Freddy Pharkas has left town. And if I don't come out of this alive, the pharmacy is yours.
That is of a true generous nature you are displaying, Freddy Pharkas. As for me, I would like to open a pharmacy on the reservation among my people. But whether that is fated to be or not is in the hands of someone who is not I. Luck be with you, Freddy Pharkas. I am proud.
the stage was set for Freddy's Showdown. Wait, did I say slow down? I meant Showdown. No. I did say Showdown, didn't I? I thought I did. Weren't sure. Anywho, now that Freddy was wearing his silver ear thing and his old gunslinging duds, nobody except Srini recognized him. Not even Sadie, Ovary, or Penelope knew who he was. They thought Freddy had skipped town, and they thought this new guy was just a handsome, silver-eared stranger who happened to be especially up on his pharmacology. Now, Freddy didn't have a lot of time to lose because things in Coarse Gold was getting worser and worser.
You've never seen Chester Field look so downtrodden. Why, he looks like he's lost his best friend. He's wearing a sandwich board upon which has been very hastily scribbled, "Will polish ears for stagecoach fare." Zircon Jim Laffer. Years from now, his brother Ezekiel will sire a son, who will beget Ethan, who will beget Bartholomew, who will beget Lawrence. That's right, he's Leisure Suit Larry's great-great-grandfather.
Howdy, stranger. New in town?
Hi, I sure am, and I'm looking for a hot time. I've been noticing some of your fine coarse gold fillies, and I wouldn't mind an introduction. Perhaps you could put in a good word for me with one of them. Of course, I know a lot of you boys gotta pay for your fun, but I figure a guy with my looks and breath, hey, they should be paying me, you know? Right? Right. By the way, my name's Laffer. Zircon Jim Laffer. Don't believe I caught yours.
Oops, I think I smell something burning or something. Catch you later.
Phew, what rock did he crawl out from under? Don't bother him, he's sleeping it off. Then when he wakes up, he'll have a hair of the dog that bit him and the cycle will begin anew, like the miracle of life itself. It's Ollie Oxenfree, the guy who owns the fig farms on the northern side of Collier Bluff. He's the worst gambler in town. He'll lose the entire North 40 in no time. That's Joe, the guy that had a bad time with old Muff Potter a few years back. He owns a local tourist trap, and trap it is. He trapped a couple of punks in there a few years back, Tom and Becky something or other, and they almost didn't get out. Somebody ought to write a book about it. That's Muff Potter. Nice to see him and Joe getting along again. He owns, or at least he did own until he started gambling today, a huge tract of land along the south side of town where Chinatown used to be. Gambling away his keg and barrel shop is Cooper Coop Cooper. He, his wife, his children, and his parents all work in his barrel shop. He's a Cooper, she's a Cooper. They're all Coopers. Wouldn't you like to be a Cooper too?
Sam, what the devil is going on here?
Do I know you?
How could you let this scoundrel swindle people out of their homes and life savings?
And you are...
I'm wait a minute, no, never mind. You don't know me. But the folks of Coarse Gold are losing their shirts to this lying, thieving, cheating, low-down, no-good, scum-sucking drifter.
Please, sir, don't talk that way about the saloon's new owner. Yes, well, I just work here now. If you have any complaints or suggestions, feel free to put them in writing and I'll be happy to pass them along to the new management.
Ollie, listen to me. Don't do it. It's not worth it.
Don't waste your breath. Ollie needs what little concentration he has just to hang on to his farm a few minutes longer.
You're gambling the tourist center away? Say it ain't so, Joe.
Joe grunts. That's the most you've ever heard him say.
Hey, Muff, don't play with this guy. He cheats.
Muff nods his head in agreement and then returns to playing. Muff's never been too bright.
Hey, Cooper, don't do it. You'll lose everything.
He ignores you. You're spoiling his lack of concentration.
How's the game going, Slick?
Who wants to know?
Just interested.
Well, it's going very nicely, Justin. I've won the deeds to the saloon, the cafe, the school, and several other plots of land. My employer will be pleased. I should have the rest of the town sewn up in just a few minutes.
Who's your employer?
Sorry, that information is covered under the terms of boss hustler privilege.
You're cheating! That's a fake left hand. Your real hand is hidden under the table. You've been feeding good cards into your hand and taking away the bad ones.
Why, yes, silver-eared stranger, you're correct. Almost. As you see, I have no cards under the table. I only have this. Now turn around, Silver Ear. I think I'd rather shoot you in the back, so I don't have to see that ugly face of yours.
Goodness, the saloon sure filled up fast. Practically the whole town's gathered round to see you die a bloody death. I mean, to see you bring aces to justice.
Ooh-wee! He did it! What a manly man! Riverboat gambler in the corner pocket.
Yee-haw!
I could have done that if I'd wanted to. I just didn't feel like it. That's all.
Now, when the townsfolk caught wind of how Aces had been cheating, the sheriff had no choice but to arrest him and return all the deeds. But wouldn't you know, no sooner had one brouhaha died down than another flared up.
Let me at those cattle!
Without warning, you hear gunshots out in front of the saloon, plus lots of yelling and shouting. What's going on out there?
Sam, what's going on outside? You got any idea?
All I know is that someone paid some cowhands to stand in the middle of their cattle drive, come into town and shoot the place up. Don't know why.
It's dangerous out there. A person might get shot.
Yes, but I figure they'll get bored sooner or later, or they'll shoot each other, or something.
Salvatore O'Hanahan, town barber, dentist, and bootblack, is hard at work on his customer Ed Sorbine Jr. Salvatore also happens to be the only Irish Italian in town.
Don't go out on the street now, Salvatore. There's a lot of shooting and nastiness going on out there.
Well, thanks for the warning, stranger. Much obliged.
Score!
You hand Salvatore your French postcards.
Your customers may not be able to read, Salvatore, but I bet they would enjoy looking at pictures.
Oh, no, they're not interested in... Wait a minute. What in the hell are those girls doing?
I'm not sure, but I don't think it's legal on this side of the Sierra Nevada.
Well, no, your exceptional generosity's got to be reciprocated. Could I be interested you in a free shave?
No, thank you, Sal.
Then how about a free wisdom tooth extraction?
Oh, no. Mine are already out. Had 'em pulled in the dental department while I was in college. Needed the extra money for tuition.
Okay, well then, let me see. What I got in here that'd be a suitable swap? Aye, there we go. Take this bottle of that newfangled nitrous oxide I got off the Fars Wilgo wagon last week. Ain't none of these guys around here wants to be the first man too sissy to stand up to my forceps for a little old tooth pulling.
Why, thank you, Salvatore. Perhaps I can use this in some of my experiments.
You encounter dozens of rowdy cowhands from that cattle drive outside of town who are carelessly firing their guns everywhere and frightening, not to mention killing, the locals. They shout, "Let's stampede the women and rape the cattle!" Luckily, the rowdy cowboys don't notice you from down below.
Let me at those cattle!
Score!
Let me at those sheep!
It's a pressurized metal canister of NO2, also known as nitrous oxide, alias laughing gas. Oh, no, you don't. You can't shoot the canister the easy way from up close. Try it from far away, just like you'd have to in real life. You take careful aim with your pistol and slowly squeeze off a shot. You did it! You shot off the canister's valve. Score!
Yipperoonie! Freddy done made them cowhands laugh themselves to death with a well-placed bullet. Course, he didn't get much time to celebrate. The sheriff and the banker and their unknown employer had figured that the mysterious silver-eared stranger might be just a little too much for them amateur rowdies to handle. So they'd called in some big guns from down south, just as backup, don't you know.
Hey, knock off the sound effects already!
What's that rotten smell? Oh no, it can't be. You recognize that smell from your old days as a lawman. More dangerous than Jesse James. Meaner than Johnny Ringo. Deadlier than William Money. More fun at cocktail parties than Rooster Cogburn. It's the legendary Lieber brothers.
Yep, it's us, handsome silver-eared stranger.
And we're here to put you 6 feet under.
Under what?
Your fervent prayer is that your few minutes of target practice with Srini will be sufficient preparation for odds like this.
With his refurbished shooting skills, Freddy was able to blast the Lieber brothers to smithereens. Now, with those varmints out of the way, Freddy figured that was the end of the story, that somehow the Lieber brothers was responsible for everything that had been going on in town. But Freddy was wrong. The Lieber brothers had been hired for the task of getting rid of Freddy by whomever had hired the cowhands, and whomever was in cahoots with Sheriff Shift and pH Balance. And no sooner had Freddy's guns stopped smoking than he heard a familiar twang and a few chords of someone's theme music.
What was that? Could it be? No. What would he be doing way out here in the middle of nowhere? You haven't heard that chord in years, and yet here it is again. Strangely recognizable after all this time. In your heart you know it must be him. And yet, how did he find you? Will you be fooled by your disguise? Does he still eat paste?
Kid, I want you out of town by sundown.
Well, sure, stranger. I'll be riding out of town well before sundown, leaving your sorry carcass for the buzzards to pick apart.
Will not.
Will two.
Not.
Two.
N.
E.
I refuse to play this juvenile word game with you.
I refuse to play this juvenile word game with you.
What are you doing now? Repeating everything I say?
What are you doing now? Repeating everything I say?
So that's why they call you Kenny the Kid. Because you are nothing but an immature little child, an anal retentive case of arrested development, with an unresolved Oedipal complex and probably codependent to boot. You were a punk when I faced you back in St. Louis, and you're still a punk. Say your prayers, outlaw.
Say your prayers, outlaw.
Now cut that out.
St. Louis? I didn't know anybody with a silver ear in St. Louis, yet somehow you seem vaguely familiar.
Maybe we'll have time to compare yearbook photos. In hell!
Well, you may have knocked the gun out of my hand, hero. Well, you couldn't stop me from hitting you anyway. Sorry I got a mite sloppy when I pierced your ear. Looks like you'll bleed to death in a few seconds. Guess now I can tell Penelope that you won't be interfering with her plans anymore.
Penelope?
What did he say? Your head's swimming, but you're sure he said Penelope. Could it be her? Could she be the cause of all this?
Score!
You weakly pull the neckerchief from around your neck.
Score!
You place your lucky neckerchief on your ear and press on it to staunch the flow of blood. With your last remaining ounce of strength, you pull yourself up and stumble off towards the schoolhouse to see Penelope.
Penelope. Penelope the sweet. Penelope my beloved. Penelope the traitor.
You scooch the chair closer and closer to your precious silver ear and just manage to snag it.
Score!
Smart thinking. You frantically give the silver ear a few quick rubs on the stone floor. In a trice, the silver ear gets a sharp edge, ragged and rough, but sharp enough to be dangerous.
Score!
You manage to slice into the ropes with the sharpened silver ear.
Score!
Justice will be done, madam.
Damn, I knew I shouldn't have wasted my time packing those student folders. I shall allow you to choose the manner of your demise.
Say what?
Oopsie. Sorry, you took too long to decide.
Penelope grabs one of the swords off the Civil War display above the blackboard.
I wonder, did I forget to mention downstairs that Meadville Normal had the nation's first female fencing team? En garde. Curses, you foiled me!
It's not a foil, it's a saber. A foil is straight and has two sharp edges, unless it's the smaller French foil, which is dull and is used chiefly for thrusting. A saber, like this one, is curved and has one sharp edge. As a teacher and a member of the fencing team, you of all people should have known that.
Oh no. Foiled, defeated, and corrected. Now I really feel bad.
And thank God for my high school intramural sports program. Otherwise, I'd be fettuccine Alfredo by now.
Score!
Hey, it's you! I recognize you now from the old neighborhood. Freddy something.
Good to see you again, Kenny. I hope I didn't hurt your hand out there in the street.
Whoa, that was you out there? I didn't recognize you. Have you done something with your hair?
No, not my hair, Kenny, but this!
Hurling your sharpened ear like a Chinese throwing star, you whip it at Kenny, catching him right in the throat.
Score! Yes, sir, by gum, by cracky. With his one good ear all mangled and grody, Freddy managed to leap from the schoolhouse just seconds before it went up in the biggest conflagration coarse gold had ever seen. The truth came out about Penelope and how she'd been plotting to buy up all the oil rights. There was no earthly way she could have survived the blast. Still, it were curious how they never recovered her body. Sheriff Shift and P.H. Balance were run out of town on a rail. The townsfolk leased the oil rights to some big developers. Soon everybody was rolling in dough, sprucing up the town and revitalizing coarse gold. Me, I eventually found my whittling knife, all gunked up. I don't remember dropping it. Must have had a spell of stupidity or something. And as for Freddy, well, he made himself another couple of silver prosthesii, one to replace the ear that Kenny just shot off, and one to replace the silver ear that ended up fatally lodged in Kenny's neck. What with all the fuss, Freddy was able to keep his gunslinging identity a secret. And it were a good thing, too, 'cause Freddy's adventures was far from over. But that little nipper is another story. Now get off my lap. You're starting to compact my vitals.
The whole town still remembers how the old schoolhouse was blown to embers, though Miss Prim's body was never ever found. Since the sheriff and the banker made the folks of coarse gold red with anger, they tarred and feathered and ran 'em out of town. and Serene he became an ordinary Rexall TP shaman down on the Pecos where engine hearts still burn. While the townsfolk safe from danger talk about that silver earlobe stranger. Where did he come from and when will he return? Pharkas, Freddy Pharkas. Black gold fields were his legacy. Freddy Pharkas, Freddy Pharkas. Peerless, fearless, and free.
Why, Penelope? Why? Why on earth have you done all this?
I suppose I can tell you. You know too much already, so I can never let you live. I had just finished my education back in western Pennsylvania at the local Meadville. Oh, wait a second, Josh, can I ask you a question?
Cut!
Shelley, how many times do we have to do this damn scene?
It's just that I don't understand my motivation for this speech.
Oh, jeez.
I mean, why would Penelope reveal all this to Freddy? Why doesn't she just kill him and get on with it, for crying out loud?
Just do it, all right? I want to get home tonight. Look, I've got people coming in from the coast.
This is about acting, Gil. You wouldn't know anything about that.
Shell, it's just a plot device so that the audience understands what's going on. Otherwise, we leave a lot of unanswered questions.
Oh, can't we just put it in the manual instead, Joshy, sweetie, booby, honey? It's just so dull.
No, they might read it before they finish the game. Ready to take it again?
All right, fine, I suppose.
And action!
Ow!
Oh, God.
You
You hit me again! No! You really hit me!
Cut!
Yes, I'm cut, and I'm bleeding too!
I hope it's serious, you little wimp.
Excuse me, can I say something here? I am gonna sue. This is what happened to Margaret Hamilton, you know.
Where are you bleeding?
My finger.
You'll never pick his ear with that finger again.
Oh, you just shut up, Miss Thing. This is all your fault, you know.
Can you suffer through one more take, Gil?
Oh, sure, Josho, and I'll just bleed to death. But you'll have your game. That's what you want, isn't it? That's what you really want. That's all this is about. You. All right. Come on, let's do it. What are we waiting for? Come on, people, let's go. All right. Come on, let's do it. What are we waiting for? Come on, people, let's go. We're losing the light.
Gil, use the pain. Directed at Shelley.
All right.
Oh, my formal fellow, I am but a weary traveler from a land far, far away.
Cut!
What was wrong with that?
The accent slipped, babe.
Good.
I didn't hear any Italian creeping in. I thought it was pretty good.
You don't like my accent? You call my agent. I can't work under these conditions. I'm going to my trailer.
Antonio, don't walk on the ants!
Ants? Ha! That's what I think of your lousy ants.
Mike, get Antonio's agent on the phone. Steve, get the rest of the programmers down here. Gil, take 5.
Double, stunt double. Hey, I said stunt double. I'm not gonna do this jump myself. I could break my neck. I'm going to my trailer.
Gil, just do it.
Oh, yeah, right. Like that's in my contract. My stunt double is supposed to handle this.
She can't. She quit yesterday.
Oh, really? Why?
People, work with me here. Huh? I'm sensing reluctance. Now, please, just do the jump before we lose the assay set, all right?
Oh, honey, doesn't this scene take place at night?
Well, we're shooting day for night. It's cheaper. The artists will fix it in post-production.
Oh, I see.
Off the set, Millie!
Ooh, but I wanted to watch Gil break his neck.
Get out! He's nervous enough about doing this scene without you watching him. Ready, Gil?
This is ridiculous. I swear, I will sue if something goes wrong. This is what happened to Margaret Hamilton, you know.
Just do it! And action!
Ow! Workers' comp! Workers' comp!
Cut!